Welcome along to Shepshed's very own Wellbeing Space. We'll be looking at ways and means to relax and to use our minds and our thoughts and listen to our breathing and all that type of thing. Now this will be once a month on a Sunday, and I've split it into 10-minute segments, no more than 10-minute segments, where you can then listen to it whenever you have your quiet time and use it as you want to. That's because I realised that Facebook wouldn't lend itself to this type of thing. But if we use it in the best way possible, it can be a great help and can get to people who wouldn't normally be using this sort of stuff. So we've got one or two contributors who are going to help us. One being Megan Wright, who is very into mindful leadership. Now that doesn't mean leading a team. It means about yourself and how you present yourself and how you have confidence in yourself. So Megan will be coming up shortly. We're going to have this one will be a taster to see how it goes. We've got some music and some video for you to see, to relax to, a couple of songs with some very important words, and we'll be looking at breathing and how to listen to your breathing and how to get into all that. Even so, that's Facebook, but you can get involved if you let me know what you would like on this wellbeing space. It is for you. We can put it out on Sundays. You can say get 10-minute segments when you want and use it how you need to. I've become very aware of what I do and the time it takes and how we can get our emotions all knotted up and all that type of thing. But let's try and share with each other, because we're all human beings. We're all living certainly in this space, and we need to try and help each other. So that's what we'll try and do. Right, the first piece that's coming up will be entitled "Be the One," and just listen to the words.
When I'm broken down and lying in bed, you lie beside me through it all. If I shut you out when you let me in, you wouldn't tell me I was wrong. I wanna be the one to say I love you more. I wanna be a better lover than you are. Oh no, you don't make it easy. You are and I'll be. When I'm a mess and it feels like the end, you give me reason to hold on. Wherever we are, when you're around, you are the words to every song. I wanna be the one to give you everything. I wanna give you more than you've given me. Oh no, you don't make it easy. When the world gets you down, as you are, and I'll be the one in the world. Get you down, long as I'll be around. I'll be the one. I
Well, I'll introduce the next piece. It's about listening to our breathing. And don't be afraid of the silencers. It's not a break in the production or anything like that. It's just time to think and listen to how we breathe. You'll get used to it. But in any case, I picked these 10-minute slots for you to decide how you want to use them.
Welcome to the Daily Calm. I'm Tamara Levitt, and today we're going to explore how our imagination can take us on a ride. Let's start by taking a comfortable position with a straight back. Close your eyes and relax your body. Make sure your chest is open and the breath can flow easily so it's not constricted. Keep the face soft. Unwrinkle the forehead. Soften the jaw. Now take a few slow, deep breaths to relax and notice what breathing feels like in your body. It's something you do all the time, day and night. But it's rare we give the breath our undivided attention. Just notice how it feels to breathe. Fully inflate your lungs, feeling your rib cage expand as you breathe in. Then as you exhale, notice your stomach softening. Now let the breath relax as it enters and leaves your body. Inviting the inhale and noticing where it begins. Releasing the exhale and noticing where it ends. Each time the mind wanders, practice bringing it back with kind, gentle compassion, complete acceptance, and non-judgment. Don't worry when you lose track of the breath. Doesn't mean you aren't practicing correctly. Many of us have an expectation that meditating should be simple and that we should be able to concentrate fully through each session. Notice how you respond to yourself when you lose track of the breath. Is there frustration or disappointment? Is there a tendency to criticize how well you're meditating? The goal here isn't to achieve any particular feeling, thought, or state. It's merely to observe and be accepting of whatever's happening in the present moment. Just keep returning to the breath over and over with a steady, gentle patience. Keep coming back over and over. Now relax your attention and notice how you feel. We notice in practice how judgmental we are of ourselves, how there's this expectation that we should carry out a perfect practice with perfect posture and perfect concentration. Many of us carry a sense that we aren't whole unless we're perfect. So we always have to fix ourselves in some way. What many of us don't realize is that as long as we view ourselves as needing to be fixed, the message we're actually sending to ourselves is that we're broken. It's likely that if you look deep and hard, you can identify with this. That there's something if you could just get over, or be more or less of, it would fix you. Perhaps you're addicted to healing yourself, holding the idea that if you're fully healed, sooner or later, you would be complete. If this is our belief, we're missing an important truth, that we're actually good enough as we are right now. But it's difficult to swallow revelation. Acceptance is the key to letting go of the idea that we always need to fix ourselves. To accept is to understand ourselves and get curious in a friendly way about the why beneath our actions. And of course, to always offer ourselves kindness. This is the place from which change occurs, not criticism. So be gentle with yourself. You are not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You are whole. You are complete exactly as you are. See if you can feel that right now. As Jeff Foster said, true healing is not the fixing of the broken, but the rediscovery of the unbroken. And as we near the end of the session, gently bring your attention back to the room. Feel your feet on the floor. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, open your eyes. I hope you enjoyed today's Daily Calm.
Right, next I introduce you to Megan Reitz, and her style is slightly different, but as I said, the 10 minutes for you to decide how you use them is Megan.
Responding to your inner state. Hello, I'm Megan Reitz. Welcome back to this wisdom series exploring mindful leadership. Today we're going to focus on our inner state. How we interpret our thoughts, feelings, and sensations in the moment affects how we show up with others. And how we show up with others is, of course, at the heart of leadership. If we recognize what's going on in the moment, we're then more able to choose courses of action that help us to relate with others more productively. Here's an example I really liked from my research. I talked with a leader who was going through a tough time at work. He'd had a series of stressful days and noticed that when he got home, he was still wound up. He brought his stress with him and into his interactions with family. Not surprisingly, about 5 minutes after arriving home, the rest of the household was also in foul moods. That's because our emotions are contagious. Our inner state is sensed by others and often influences how they then think and feel. This leader learnt through his mindfulness practice to pause just for a moment as the key entered the lock of his front door. And in that pause, he'd do a quick check-in. In the language of previous sessions, he'd aim, allow, inquire, and become meta-aware. With allowing, he showed compassion for both himself and his family. He acknowledged he felt stressed, but didn't get caught up in it. Rather, he inquired as to how he was showing up, and in doing so, he became meta-aware of his thoughts, feelings, and sensations. If he noticed then that he was tense and still had the day's stresses in his head, he'd remind himself how he wanted to relate with his family. He'd take a purposeful breath to calm himself before he went in. If it had been a really bad day, he'd smile at his partner and his kids and just say, "Gosh, tough day. Give me 10 minutes and I'll be right with you." Then he'd make sure he just took that little bit more time to transition and shift some of that negative feeling. And that made all the difference to him and his family. Cast your mind back to a time when things haven't gone so well at work. A time when your inner state was stressed or frustrated, and it carried over into how you showed up with other people. What was the impact? We tend to blame circumstances for our inner state. We're stressed because of the deadline looming. We're grumpy because we didn't get much sleep last night. We're embarrassed because we made a mistake. The problem is that if we accept that circumstances dictate how we are, then we remain completely at the whim of what happens around us. We have no agency, and we're likely to feel buffeted and reactive in the face of everyday challenges. When we're mindful, we notice how we're interpreting the events that happen around us and how that interpretation affects our inner state. I'll give you a somewhat humorous personal example. A few years ago, I was invited to Spain to give a keynote talk on mindfulness and compassion to a small group. I was already a little nervous. I was sharing new ideas and thoughts for the first time. I arrived very late at night to my hotel, which was really awful. The room was dirty and hot, and to top it off, I had a migraine. In the morning, after a restless night, I staggered my way to the bathroom and looked in the mirror. My face was a swollen mess. During the night, I'd been bitten all over by mosquitoes. I looked and felt truly awful. I'll be honest, the first thing that crossed my mind was, oh my goodness, what are they all going to think of me? And there's no way I'm going to do a good job feeling the way I am. I was lost for a moment in assuming that because of the situation, my fate was sealed. My inner state, already pretty abysmal, was getting rapidly worse. But fortunately, I caught myself in that moment. I took a breath and I used AIM. I allowed. I found self-compassion and ruefully acknowledged, oh well, this is what it is. There's absolutely no point getting all worked up. I can't change what has happened. I inquired. Right, I said to myself, how am I? What's going on? And then I became aware of my negative thoughts and how I was feeling. I also became aware that actually, though I may look awful, I didn't feel that bad. And a cup of tea was bound to help things. I was then able to focus on how I could help myself be in the best possible place for my talk. I'd stopped that classic reactivity that causes us to feel helpless. The conference went well. In fact, I was able, of course, to refer directly to my experience, which helped illustrate the ideas I wanted to share. In this example, mindfulness helped me to move from what we call avoidance to approach mode. When we're in avoidance, we're wishing things were different. We're retreating. When we do this, our mind tends to close down possibilities. In approach mode, we're curious about the situation we find ourselves in. We lean in, and in so doing, we tend to see different and new possibilities. We're less likely to circle into stress and anxiety when we're in approach mode. So over to you. Think about a time recently where your inner state affected how you reacted to something. Perhaps you were in a great mood, something not so good happened, but you were able to respond well because of your state. Or perhaps your inner state was negative, and when that not so good thing happened, you reacted in a way that was less than productive. How does your inner state affect your world at work? Here's a little challenge for you. When you know you're likely to fall into a negative inner state, for example, at the end of a long day, after talking to that colleague, or when you've not slept so well, see if you can recognize that state. Be aware and just take a few moments to open up that space where you might inquire, approach, and see what happens. Do any different choices open up? I've recorded a few practices here on Calm that can help you notice your inner state and open up space for choice. Perhaps try the practices called Cultivating a Learning Mindset or Showing Up and Meeting Well. That's it for this session on this Mindful Leadership Wisdom series. I'm looking forward to being with you on the next one, which is all about resilience and how to strengthen it through mindfulness practices.
Right, that's it for this week, and this is just a sampler, if you like, put together. Just let me know how you thought it went. And we're going to finish with a song that I think, if you listen to the words, it says it all. I'll put these together every 4 to 6 weeks, but we'll see how the first one went with you. So please let me know how you thought it went.
Thanks for this beautiful day you've spent with me. Now I get what you're all about, going through life with a smile. Show me how you lose yourself in whatever you do. How do you think it's alright, even in the darkest night? Now I wanna see you again, so we can love every day as if it's our last one. Nothing to care for, just you and I. Wanna know how we can say it all, just one night. It's easy if we try. Now love every day like it was our last one. Just you and I being here right now. Now hold me once, no, just hold me twice for tonight. Thanks for your beautiful smile. Ooh, thanks for your beautiful